Hey gang, I hope you can hear me okay. I'm traveling, so I apologize, but things as they are, I wanted to make sure that we did this. So y'all come first. Let's put it that way. So being able to broadcast and share news with you about the Austin Film Festival was more important to me, clearly, than my surroundings. I am traveling right now, so I am I am in a room. Well, it's a long story. I was in another room and then I realized, oh, it's kind of late here. We're going to be going pretty late. I didn't want to be disturbing the people in the room next to me. Hey, Scotland. So just at the last minute, kind of moved in here. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I apologize for the door. Such a class. We're Hollywood. We're glamorous. We're fancy around here. It's such an awesome doorknob shot we got there, but believe me, it was better than some of the other so I just was a film festival and about contests in general. So hey Nicole. So yes, and I will be diving in. I believe Nicole, I did get your message and you'll hear from me probably tomorrow. I'm going to dive in and kind of make sure, I think you're good, but I'm going to make sure that everything's up to date and everything for people that are doing homework. Well, hello, Facebook user and Bass Girl. I just wanted to kind of talk about contests a little bit today because we recently, hey Joy, good to see you. We recently had the script competition director of the Austin Film Festival come in as a guest into our, if you don't know, we have several different tracks of the way that we teach things. We have these free trainings that we do here in Hollywood Gatekeepers. Sorry, I'm like, it's a very precarious setup we have here. For a minute there, I thought I was going to lose you. We have Hollywood Gatekeepers where we do these free trainings. We have the Insider track, which is coaching, and we have a whole coaching program that we have. He came in to speak. Hey, Bonnie, you're Bass Girl. Of course. Now, hopefully I'll remember that. I thought it would be a good opportunity because it is contest season, although there are contests year round. However, kind of the bigger, I don't necessarily want to say bigger, but there are quite a few that run around now, February, springtime, into summer. And then there's others, but that's kind of a big, Austin Film Festival is happening now. The Nickel Fellowships happen now. I believe Final Draft has one. There's the Writer's Store. I believe there's quite a few that start right now. And so I just thought it would be a good opportunity for us to talk a little bit about, hey there, I can see, sorry, Facebook user. Put Joy in there. Hey, Joy. And then, and there's Bonnie, and there's Facebook user, and there, I believe that might be Doug. So it's just a guess. So I thought I'll leave Joy because I could see Joy, and she's on our team. Yay! So I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about contests because I've actually heard some podcasts. I've heard some people say, "Hey, Shree's here too." Yay! Hey, the gang's all here. I've heard some people say, "Oh, contests, they're just a waste of time. They're a waste of money. You're going to spend money, and they're not really real." And what we haven't talked about this in a while, but the wonk wonk people. Those are the people like wonk wonk wonk. That's how they sound in my head. Wonk, wonk, wonk. Like, oh, this is just that. They have people that read. They have people that write. They. And I do a whole training on who's they exactly. Because even as a child, when people would say, oh, honey, they have people that do that, I'd be like, okay, how do you get to be they? Like, I never got that they didn't mean me. Like, that was never, I just never had that boundary for some reason. I'm not even sure why. I don't know. Maybe my dad was pretty open that way too, but I just always like they, like, okay, they is me. So yeah, it's kind of a Debbie Downer thing, but it's a little more than that. It's a little more, Debbie Downer is, to me anyway, my version of Debbie Downer is like, oh, I can't do that. I could never do that. As opposed to, no, it's the expert saving you, going, I got you here because they do that. I'm going to save you a heartache. And that's a whole nother level of Debbie Downer because And we get this all the time in Hollywood. Oh, let me tell you, I'll tell you what's going on over there. And I'm like, how about I tell you, because I'm the one that's doing it. How about that? How about Doug and I enjoy and shrink, tell you how this all works. So that's another level of they, and the they wonk wonk people, the wonk wonk people, they often will say contests are a waste of money, blah, blah, blah. And so when sometimes, and I actually heard someone say, well, we interviewed some people who had won contests, and we said, did this really change your career? Did it really change your life? Did it really make a difference? And it was interesting because some people said, no, it really didn't. But the people that said yes, to me, I liken it to, I think if you just get on American Idol, or you just get on The Voice, even if no one turns their chair or whatever, even if you get out in the first round, if you're smart, you can use that to launch your career. Just that. You don't even need to win. And those people that get even a couple rounds in, if they capitalize on that, it's all in what you do with it. And so the people that do say, yes, it really did help me to be in this festival, or really did help me to the ones that took that and used it as a way to meet people, used it as a way to get their name out there, used it as a way to give themselves credibility. They just capitalized on that springboard. And those are the people where it makes sense. And so if you enter all of the contests, if you enter, let's say you have one screenplay and you enter it in a few contests, and it isn't making even even the first cut, then that probably, and enter one where you get some feedback is always good, like the Austin Film Festival. But it'll give you a hint as to how well your screenplay will do when you actually want to sell it to people. But if you even get to where you're consistently making the first cut, and you're in several festivals, even just that, if you capitalize on it constantly a finalist, it'll be so much easier for you to jump from there. So, yeah. And actually, in a lot of them, producers definitely troll them for new talent. Absolutely. Opportunity takers. That's what you are when you do that. So it's all of this, and I can't stress this enough, is what you do with it. So I became a reader because of a contest. I entered a screenplay competition with my first screenplay, and it was in the top 10, and I was so excited, and that I went to the conference that was attached to it because I was so excited. And because it had been a finalist, I was able to go up to, oh, yeah, my screenplay was a finalist here. And it made me just kind of meet people on a kind of different level. And then they had panels and they had things. And at one of the panels, they were saying, oh, you get your script past a reader. And I was like, oh, what? What's a reader? Similar to a lot of people I think that come here. And then I was like, oh, done. I want to be that guy. And so I immediately figured out people, and that launched my career. And then ended up Sundance, James Cameron, Richard Dreyfuss, ended up years later, reading for a lot of different major companies. So it's all in what you do with it. And at the time, I was just young and eager and excited, so excited to be there, kind of like I am now, super excited to be here. It's just enjoying the journey and figuring that out. So I really, I wanted to stress that to get in. If you are thinking of entering contests, I do recommend that you enter ones where they do have feedback. Why not, right? Why not get that feedback? So it absolutely, so doing well can help you build creds. Yep, it's what you refer to as non-endorsement endorsement. It's definitely, it gives you a topic. It gives you something to talk about. It gives you, you'll meet more people, which is always important and always helps. You'll meet more people along the way. You'll enjoy the journey a little more. You'll learn something. And learning to me is learning is the key to life. The more you're open to learning, the more you don't think you know it all, the just more fun you'll have in life. And then the further you'll go. Every coach, I'm in a lot of coaching programs now because of this. I'm trying to learn how to give the best advice I can in a way that people will hear it. There's that. I want to give the best advice I can, and I want to find a way that people will actually hear that advice, because sometimes it's a little bit like knocking your head against the wall. So trying to figure out, fun ways to make it I don't know, just more accessible or gamify or whatever. But it's like, how can we do that to inspire each other? How can we do that so that we move forward and have fun and make it cool? So I wanted to give you like kind of the to-dos and the to-don'ts of what to do if you are thinking of entering a contest, or so do a pitch fest. And we could actually, we'll do this soon. I keep saying we're going to do it. We just haven't had a chance yet to do a whole session on pitch fest, because that's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother kind of topic and everything. But yeah, I'm glad you like the feedback. So yeah, thank you, Shree. That's a really good one. So there's Screenwriter's Calendar for you. Yeah, sometimes with an additional fee, you can get a full report. And there, I mean, I know that Screencraft, they do great coverage. If you want to enter any of their, they have so many different competitions there. Stage 32 has constant feedback opportunities. And actually, I just discovered, and I grabbed their stuff today. I'm going to reach out to them to see how we can help. But I don't know how many of you know that the South by Southwest was canceled. So I mean, that's a huge bummer, because I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that Southwest, I'm almost positive, is an asking, your film makes it into the Austin Film Festival, you can then enter it into the Oscars. Only certain festivals have that. I know Newport Beach has that, and I believe Austin does too, where if your film is in that festival, then you can enter it into the Oscars. So it's if you get into that, it's a big deal, and they canceled it. So Stage 32 has stepped up, and they're going to be screening some of the films that got into that festival. So they're trying to figure that out. I know that yes, they do have script coverage. Austin does. So I believe that Stage 32 is now going to step up and be screenings. I know that it's different because it's online. So and there's some people who might not want that. So I'm sure they're trying to figure all that out. I really feel that, in my experience, I don't know them personally yet, but we will soon. I do know the folks over at Austin Film Festival, but at Stage 32, we're kind of going back and forth a little bit. But they seem like they're coming from a good place. Same with Screencraft, from everything I've seen, and really care about getting their writers, giving them a leg up and helping them out. I absolutely know. Obviously, everyone knows that nickel fellowships, even if you get in make it the first cut, agents will see you. That's a big one. Obviously, really highly respected. But even if you enter smaller contests, or even there's so many genre-specific contests now, and you enter some of those. If you get on a roll and you start to really move forward with that can really help you out. Yeah, I think it's really cool of them to step up, right? I think, I do think it's interesting. I just read that today, and I haven't had a chance yet. Just like not too long, about an hour ago, I read that. I was like, oh, so good. So really smart all the way around. So we definitely will be ones that support them in that and get the word out as well. So I think it's really, really, really cool. So Nickel Fellowship, also a really good one. So if you do go to some sort of conference and you are someone whose screenplay is working, there's a couple of things that I just wanted to sort of, give you a few tips about. So if you have a screenplay that does well, or this is more if you meet people, but either way, if you have a screenplay that is in a contest and even makes the first round, don't let that be your only work. So really be ready. So always be ready. I actually have a friend who was nominated. His short film was nominated for an Oscar, which obviously opened doors all over town for him. And he said he got into meetings and he goes, I wasn't prepared. They all wanted to know what's next. What else do you have? And he goes, I didn't really have anything. It took him a while. I mean, he ended up writing, being a series television writer, but it took him a while. Whereas his wife, they had done the film together. She was ready to go. She was smoking, so her career immediately took off. It took him a little bit longer. Now he's a brilliant writer, but it was like, that was my big aha was like, oh, be ready. And as someone who I've taken pitches at conferences and film festivals, and so I know what that's like to sit and be on the other end of that. And I'm kind of amazed at how people have their one screenplay and that's all they stick to. So even if you're entering contests, this is one of the reasons we created a whole program called Finished, where we are helping people finish their screenplay. And it's like, finish that screenplay, and then it's a 6-month program, and then when you get to the end of finishing that, you're on to the next one. And we're like, Good, you got one. Let's keep going, keep writing, keep writing. Be a writer. We're really trying to get people into that mode of like just writing, 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 writing. They want to know when producers meet you, even if you have a brilliant screenplay, when producers meet you, they want you to be a writer. They don't want you to have a screenplay. There's a big difference between someone who has a screenplay and someone who is a writer. Some idea, and it's amazing. And you see this kind of in famous films often too, where their big breakthrough film is an enormous and a huge hit, and then they kind of struggle for a while. And it also like it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because it's like, you know, you have to follow it up with something. But really, like, you know, have some way they can easily get in touch with you, have a QR code or have even a business card. Although now we have so many ways that, you know, text me, Instagram, whatever, but still there's something about people walking away with something that is of you, that has something catchy, that has a card or QR code or your Instagram profile, whatever it might be, like, so that they can remember who you are. Like, really know to, like, if you are entering a contest, know the contest. So many people just like, well, is this one good? Was that one good? I'm like, I mean, I do know, but I don't want to be, it's good depending on, like, you want to be entering contests that makes sense for your script. Don't enter this. That's an extreme example, but sometimes people do enter screenplays. This is a huge one. And actually we had a producer come in and say this, where he puts out a call for low budget features. He opens up a screenplay and it says, heard an army of elephants cross over the horizon. He closes it and moves to the next one because it's like low budget, low. So it is like, know what you're entering, like being aware. It's when people see that, in some ways it's an insult because you haven't looked at the competition that you're entering. And sometimes people enter things and they're like, why haven't they, why don't they do something for me? And it's like, well, because you didn't look at who you're entering. So like really looking, being aware of the contest, not clinging to your work. If you have a screenplay that you really feel is one that you need to produce, that I'm more power to you, but don't enter that and expect that if it wins the contest, you will be attached as a director. I mean, really don't care, like, you let it go. They're not babies. I know we call them our babies. They're not babies. They're screenplays. If you have a screenplay you're really attached to, it's a really personal story, you want to produce that yourself, that's one thing. You can enter that in a contest maybe to get some feedback, but if you're entering it, unless there are some contests out there that are about that, trying to launch filmmakers, much different than launching a writer. Know who you are. Are you a filmmaker? Are you a writer / filmmaker? Which is it? You can be both, but know what you are from project to project. So like, for instance, The Quiet Place guys, they entered a contest. They entered not with The Quiet Place, with a different script. They won a contest. That is such a great story. And one of the prizes of winning this contest was bringing them out to LA. They weren't from there, from someplace like The Quiet Place. So that them, the whole contest that they entered fell apart. Like, it just, became defunct, and like, but they, climbed, like, they just hung in there. They got those meetings and they made something of it. And then they gave away The Quiet Place. They had already been mapping out to direct it themselves. They were going to make it themselves. They already had it going, but they had gotten a few meetings, and that script got into the hands of John Krasinski, and then off it went. And they didn't go, no, that's mine. They were like, here you go. He rewrote it. I actually, in my humble opinion, think their version is better than the version that ended up on the screen. But, it did a little bit well. So I'm not going to, begrudge that. But they also did all the press junkets and just said how fortunate they feel and how lovely they're just so, not one even teeny ounce of, anything about it. Was all just positive about what an opportunity it was. How? Who's writing Quiet Place 2? Who's starting to direct their own movies, right? So it's like, they're really a good example. If you have any, I wish I should know their names. But if you have a chance, look up their story, check them out on YouTube. They're just, lovely. Maybe we can get them on, see if I can figure that out, because they're just like, they're a real inspiration. Their approach and their openness and their excitement and their willingness, really, really, really great. they definitely leveraged it into careers. Super great. Yeah, they're not babies. Sorry, they are not babies. So, and I see. I mean, I can't tell you, like, hundreds. I've had hundreds of writers say to me, "Well, I see them clinging onto it. They're not actually clinging onto it, but in my head, they always are. I see them holding their screenplay against their chest." No. But they'll say, like, "Well, when someone pays me to read my screenplay, then I'll consider it. But you got to pay me first." And it's like, I get that. I get that we need to value ourselves. I also get that give that one away and keep writing the next one. Like, just write. Please write. Just keep writing. Writers write. That's the big secret. That's the big secret of every Oscar-winning writer. They write. They write, and when they're done writing, they write some more. I did a thing where I was interviewing Bobby Moresco, who won an Oscar for Crash. Talking to him, and I mean, I was only with him for, I don't know, not even an hour for the project that we were doing. He must have been interrupted like 50 times. I'm like, oh God, how do you get anything done? And he's like, tell me. Like, so, but he's there in his office when he's not being interrupted writing, like writing. He's there writing. So it's really, yeah, so if you're in Screenreaders, it's posted inside of the writer's room, or not writer's room, it's posted inside. So really wanted to get that across, like, to be ready, not to cling to your work, and then kind of talk a little bit about, there's a fine line between being available, giving your contact information, getting someone's contact information, and stalking and being obnoxious. There's a really fine line about that. Part of that just has to do with really stepping outside yourself and seeing things from someone else's perspective. What is it looking like to them? How are you behaving with them? Would you want to be, and that's really the best way, is would I want someone to approach me the way I am approaching this person? So, and also now with social media, especially with contests, like, I don't say what contests I even have read for, really, or sometimes it's some documents and things, but, or if I read for a contest now, especially because now when I read for contests, I'm usually in the final judging last thing. So if I'm reading for a contest, I absolutely, like, I don't say, for one thing, I'm not, sorry, someone's entering. For one thing, I'm not, he's like, what the heck? For one thing, I'm not looking for projects. So I don't say who I read for, because I never want it to seem like I am biased. I never want it to seem like, oh, look, they're friends on Facebook. Oh, and look, that person won the contest. Like, I never want anything like that. So if you do have any connections, sorry. If you do have any connections via social media, you always want to make sure that you, especially if you're in a contest or whatever, that you're really positive, that you're not a wonk-wonk person on social media, that you're always the one that's supporting other people, that you're encouraging other people, that you're being like what we see in here for the most part, because we wonk, we wonk-wonk. So because we really want a positive experience. So, and you can see it even in this group sometimes. You want to be the person that's cheering for other people as opposed to constantly promoting yourself. It's pretty obvious to see the difference. And it's not so bad in here. Go into some other screenwriting groups, though, and that's where the wonk-wonk people preside. So you can go in there, and it's really negative and scary. That's why we try to keep it as light as possible here. Someone, Anna, look in Hollywood, I believe, just if you're looking for a certain script, maybe put in the subject bar inside the Gatekeepers group, like Oscar scripts, and because people have posted links to things, and you can, anytime you're looking for a certain topic, just use the search bar. Either if you're in Screenreaders, you can try it in there, or if you're in Gatekeepers, you can try it in here as well. So just, you can look that way as well. So we have this opportunity to speak to the director of competitions for the Austin Film Festival of the script competition. They have a competition there that you can enter. I believe entries have started. Yes, anyone reading for them? And they also have, they need readers as well. So we have several people in our insider track that are already reading for them. There's a couple of ways you can read for them. One is that you get recommended by someone, and then, but they have a pretty strident conditions that they want you to be able to, they don't just take anyone. They really have some, hoops you have to jump through, and they really do take a high quality level of people, which I really, really love. And so they allowed us, which we're really excited about, they allowed us to share the interview. So it's on YouTube right now. Here, let me put it in the chat, and then I'll post it, and then maybe I will post it. You think I would figure this out by now? Here's the link to it. So I'm going to post it and then show it. And then Joy, can you snag it and put it in the chat? Because it will, I can only post it onto YouTube. So here it is. And then nice. Grab that, would you? Poor Joy, she's like, oh. So you can go to your YouTube channel, you'll see it right there. But you can see the whole interview that we did with Sage. He's such a good guy. They really do want great readers. We talk a lot about our process. You can learn more about Hollywood screen readers. And we also talk a lot about the Austin Film Festival and their process and how they find readers and what you have to go through. They do want experienced readers. They do also have volunteer positions for the festival, which happens in October, the last weekend of October. So they're already reading. They're already getting their readers. They have something like 11,000 entries. They have 500 readers. Like, this is massive. And they really do. He not flippantly, that's not the right word. Casually is not right. He just naturally is the best way. Talks about, oh, when we launch a writer's career, like that it's so ingrained in their culture that he says that just naturally. Yeah, well, that's what they're trying to do. They really are. And every contest I've ever read for, that's their goal. They really, really do want to help you. They really, really do want to help you launch your career. I've never read for one. It's like, oh, good, we're going to get some money from some writers. Like, it's absurd. For one, the entry fees are small. So, you know, even when you get a lot of entries, there's still a lot of costs involved in sort of hiring people to read those screenplays. And in this case, they have a whole event that they're putting on. There's a lot going on. So I've never seen a contest that's solely just, you know, making a bajillion dollars and, you know, not helping people. They really do. They use that money to get people, you know, fly people into LA sometimes or whatever it might be. But they really are. And producers who read on that upper level, I just had lunch with the producer yesterday. I'm like, so what's next? She goes, I'm just reading. She's like, I'm reading scripts her DP sent me. I'm reading scripts off of Ink. Was it Blacklist? You know, she's just reading as many scripts as she possibly can while she figures out what she's going to do next. And that's what they do. We're just reading. We're reading. I mean, I hear it all the time. So that's really, yeah. So yeah, Joy just posted it. So look for Joy's post in the chat, and you'll see the YouTube link. So I wanted to just kind of go through that a little bit, kind of the do's, real general do's and don'ts. But really, you know, this contests are an opportunity. Just be smart about it. Don't just waste your money entering everything. Enter ones that make sense. Enter early. Have a deadline. That's the other thing, is you can use contests as a deadline. I want to get my screenplay done, and I want to get it done. The early deadlines are much cheaper than if you wait till the last minute. So you can enter more contests if you do the early deadline. Pay for the coverage, and then you can get that feedback, and then you can enter the next one a little more savvy. Once you start, you will get a roll because you'll start to see. And if you get feedback from more than one, chances are it's going to be the same feedback. So, let me try that again. Let me see here. Share. Copy. Okay. Let me try it again. So, is that the same? Oh, wait. It looks the same. Should be live, should be up, should be working. Here. I will, as soon as I'm going to pop off here anyway, so I will put it back in the chat once I'm out. Comparing what Joy wrote. That's good. Yes, the readers in the early deadlines are generally more experienced. Absolutely. And most contests have more than one reader. So often they'll have it's read more than once. And Austin is, you'll see in the interview, he talks quite a bit about this, that they really want to make sure that, you know, you have to do sort of what they call no scripts. So once a script, someone has said, no, it shouldn't move on, they make sure by having someone else read it too, which is right. They really do care. You'll see it. Watch the interview because you will see it in the absolutely. And I will also post the YouTube video. We'll be posting that tomorrow within this group, so you can just watch it directly. But I just wanted to make sure that you kind of got those tips on sorry, just my doorknob again. on so don't worry, I will post sure as part of the gatekeepers group so you can get to it. So don't worry, just keep an eye out in here and we will definitely post it in this group. And it's on, if you're on the YouTube channel watching this, you should be able to find it without much problem because it's the most recent thing we've posted till right now. So yeah, almost all contests have more than one reader per script, almost all of them. And then some of them, they have 2 readers per script, but if those 2 readers disagree and one thinks, you know, scores it high and one scores it low, they'll have a third one come in to break the tie. They really do care. They really, really do. They really do. I can't say that enough, that I've never experienced a contest, a conference, anything where they don't care. That's just, I've never seen it. So you have within the industry, you have people are people. Some people are more passionate about it than others, but as a whole, and it really, you'll see in this interview with him, absolutely it's true. I would not get behind it like this. So really check it out. Highly recommend it if you do want to be a reader and or volunteer. They need volunteers for the festival. And then they also are looking for readers, but you do need to have some experience and you also need to pass their test. They give you a test and you need to take the test and pass it. So there you have it. We will be back next week for sure. And yeah, thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in a different day this week. I'm traveling. Sorry about my wonky schedule lately and my wonky locations, but I'm just making sure that I still continue to provide content even when I'm out on the road. So there it is again. Try that. If that doesn't work, then I will make sure when we're done here that it gets posted. Cool. You guys are the best. And I will see you. It works? Is that a Y? Is that a yes? It's good to know. All right, you guys. So good to see you. Thanks for and on the flip side. Okay. And you also should have gotten it via email as well. So we'll make sure that you get that. Just post in here, Austin Film Festival. Oh, awesome. Also, you can email readers at hang on, let me make sure I have this right. readers@austinfilmfestival.com if you want information about how to apply to be a reader for the film festival. readers@austinfilmfestival.com. Right, you guys are the best. So we will see you next week. Definitely check out the interview and send your email.